Welcome back, welcome back. I am back again with another video. This one was requested by my Instagram followers on a poll that I made. You can check me out on Instagram if you're not yet following. For those who don't know, my name is Stephanie. I am a mom of 4 kids. I'm going to be sharing my knowledge with you about homeschool versus traditional prep schools in Jamaica. Thanks again for watching and subscribing. Let's get into it. So it's important to note that I am currently a homeschool mom, but I have gone through the experience of traditional prep school as well, because I know a lot of persons are not so familiar with homeschooling in Jamaica. So let's get into it. Homeschooling. Of course, as the name suggests, the children are not in a traditional school space. They are typically at home or any other location that is conducive for learning that you choose. In my case, personally, I opted out of being the teacher for my children because I'm not trained to do so. And I do believe it's a bit more difficult when you are mommy and the teacher, because children have a natural different response to their mother. If you know, you know. And a big shout out to the mothers who personally teach their children. That is no easy feat. But I did not feel I was equipped with the necessary skills to do so. So I sought the services of a trained professional to come in and facilitate my children's learning at home. The first advantage of homeschool is that you have specialized attention on your child or children, and you can directly serve what their learning styles and educational needs are, as we know that all children are different. The other benefit is that you have creative control in the curriculum that you choose to follow and the way it is taught to your children. So Ministry of Education makes the curriculum for all age groups available online. You know that there are a plethora of options as it relates to text materials, workbooks, and all of those things. The schools make their choices of what they use based on the curriculum that they apply. But when you're homeschooling, you're in the driver's seat. You can take recommendations from what other schools use or what the ministry approves as suggested materials to use, but you can make your additions, subtractions, deletions, whatever suits you best, and you can decide how to get it done. The other advantage of homeschooling as well is that you use a fraction of the time that you would with normal school in getting what is needed to be done with your child. So for example, if a normal school day starts from 8 and goes up until 2 or 12:30, depending on the age of the child, with homeschool, I literally take 30 minutes at minimum for the youngest child, which started out at 3 going on 4. And then right now, my eldest is taking an hour and a half, right? Which is grade 3 level. So because there aren't other students in the mix that need attention, as well as other activities that add in for the rounded school day experience, the lesson is completed in record time, and you find that you still accomplish and even surpass the goals for the semester when you do it that way. So that's amazing. And then of course we schedule time for homework and other activities throughout the day, whether it be art and craft, free play, science experiments, whatever it is can be scheduled according to your desire. but the theoretical lessons only take so much and no more of your time. The downsides to homeschool. Now, one of the major concerns that people raise is, what about the socialization of the child or children? And now, off the bat, you have to have a plan for how you're gonna make up for the loss of socialization based on what traditional school would offer. So take these things into consideration. Does the child have siblings? Does the child have friends that they can play with within their age group? Does the child do other activities? Are there other extracurriculars or things that the child can be involved in to interact with other children? Those are the things you need to think of, because the unpopular opinion, you don't need to be in school every day to be well socialized. It depends on all the different factors. Now, if you have an only child, you don't have them in any activities, no interactions, then you might want to think, is this right for me? Who knows? Also depends on the temperament of your child. Some children are just naturally socialites out the gate without any need for help or extra exposure, and you have some that need to be pulled out of their shell. So you know your kid's personality. Traditional prep schools in Jamaica. Now, there are several benefits to enrolling your children here. One of the first things that parents recognize is that it helps out with the nutrition of the kids. Believe it or not, a lot of the picky eaters tend to be more encouraged to eat more than they would at home by themselves. You find that a lot of the first foods that some of the picky eaters eat are at school, seeing their peers eat food. Another advantage is that the socialization, it's deeper than just making friends. It also helps to bring out their problem solving skills, conflict resolution, critical thinking skills, because they're put in situations that they often have to come up with solutions to handle. Another thing is that it gives them a drive, a motivation, or a competitive edge when they're able to pull from the energy of their peers as it relates to learning, pushing themselves to achieve greater, because they actually have peers that they see doing well and they want to also do well. So it kind of pulls out the potential within them and it pushes them to do more and do greater. So that's definitely a benefit. Traditional prep school also helps as it relates to the discipline of children. Schools have their way of handling things, and even just being in a classroom environment, you find that school as an institution helps to guide, train, or mold students into doing things a particular way, following certain rules, um, understanding how to respect authority and things like that. So it helps overall with discipline. Otherwise, you have persons who are trained and passionate about looking after children, teaching them, and helping them to the best of their ability based on their qualifications, experience, and the resources that they have available to them. The challenges or the downsides to prep school is that unfortunately not all of the teachers who are currently in schools are truly motivated or passionate about their job, and as such it reflects in their performance, in the way they handle the students. And the truth as well, if we must give credit where it's due, it is very difficult for two teachers or one teacher to be assigned to over 40 students and expect that they're able to give the quality of if it were a one-to-one experience to all 40 of those children. It's simply impossible. So going into traditional prep school, I had high hopes. After all, that's what I did as a child. So I turned out quite fine. So, I had high hopes but I was thoroughly disappointed. And I know this will not be the experience for everyone, and this is why each person has to make their own decision based on their own circumstances and give things a chance for themselves. But for me, um, I was a working mom at the time, and I noticed that possibly because I appear a young first time mom working and all that, I'm not of the aristocrat society. I'm not palm colored, so to speak. There was no need to take any time to connect with me as a child's parent. I used to have to beg, hope, and plead just for a little information on how my child is doing. What are they doing in class now? What are the achievements? What's going on? Like I literally felt so out of it. And I don't believe that's how you should feel when you're sending a child somewhere for so many hours out of the day, right? The other thing is that the safety of the children comes into question. They literally cannot be monitored every single moment that they exist. We want to believe that schools are a safe space, but time and time again, unfortunately, we're seeing instances where parents leave their children in the custody of the school, and we find that they are severely injured, they are having medical issues that are not properly attended to, all sorts of things. And it really makes you think, are the children really safe? Are the children really being monitored adequately? Because time and time again, when the reports of what happened to the children come into question, it's, oh, the teacher stepped away at the moment, or oh, nobody saw, let's run the cameras back and there's no camera footage. Right? So that's one of the major downfalls or setbacks for me. The other thing is that unfortunately, not all parents have the same value system, and school in and of itself is not enough to rectify these behaviors. And as such, your children run the risk of mixing with others that are very out of control and ill mannered and physically attack, bully, or take set on your kids. So there's also that which you can't prevent or say you're being specific about who is around your child. You don't have that luxury once you enroll into a school because, of course, school is for everyone, and once you can pay the fees, you can go. The reality as well is that prep schools have hundreds of students, and your individual needs are not easily met by principals, grade coordinators, etc. If your child has needs that are outside of what teachers are trained to handle, or the resources that the school has and can accommodate, then you find yourself in a tough spot. If you have a child that falls under the category of special needs, or they have any additional educational needs that the regular classroom setting is not fulfilling, it's very hard. It is very hard for the students to be given the adequate attention and extra help that they need. And oftentimes it's reported from these parents that they feel like their child is deliberately left out because they simply can't bother to deal with them. And that is truly unfortunate and something that I personally hope we can see some progress with. I know there are specific institutions, but that's a whole nother story. So the point is this: homeschool, traditional prep school, they both have their upsides, they both have their downsides. It really depends on your child or children, your parenting style, what you're comfortable with. So, what do you think? Did you learn anything about either, and how do you feel? Let me know in the comments. Thanks again for watching. Like, subscribe, and check out more in the next video.